What's good, everybody? It is Big Time Sports Podcast, and I'm your host, Perci Garner, and we have guests today. So I know you guys are excited when we have guests. I am as well. We have someone to talk to, and we actually got two people in studio. But before we get to our guests, make sure you guys subscribe. I always have to ask. Charlie makes me ask for subscribers. We're still on our road to 1,000. You guys already know everything, how we got our YouTube channel taken away. But we're back now, so hopefully you guys can help us out. Give us some subscribers so we can get back to 1,000 and keep continuing giving you guys content that you guys want. Remember, we got lots of sports. It's fall time. It's all the fun. Everything's happening. We talked about the Tuscarawas volleyball preview and the football preview. I will say the volleyball preview was a little bit better. There was action, not just talking, and it was amazing. So without further ado, let's get into our guests. So today we have two people with us. We have a junior. I thought you were a senior because, someone said you were the number one. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to make other players mad on the team, but your coach said you were the number one guy. So we have Henry. Now, I want you to make sure this is going to be my first attempt saying your name. All right, Swartzentruber. Let's go. Let's go. And then, Coach, you got an easier name. We have Coach who's in our 5th year at Garaway, and that's Makayla Johnson. Now, before I go into, questions and everything, I just want to let you know, everyone I spoke to, including Ryan, was like, you're going to love Makayla. And I was like, okay, what's going on?
Set the standard high today. All right.
Exactly.
Hopefully I don't let you down.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to let me down.
Good.
Just like if I'm at a buffet or whatever, it's pretty easy to keep me happy.
Keep you happy?
Exactly.
Perfect.
As long as I'm not eating peas, I'm happy.
Perfect.
All right, so I don't know if you guys have ever seen an episode here, but it's laid back. I'm goofy. I try to be, get some good information out of you guys because I know you've got a lot to share. And I know Henry, this is his first time doing this, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. The hard thing is, don't be worried because I'm gonna probably take up most of the time talking, as you can already tell. But I'll try not to. So Henry and Makayla, you guys are, coming up on this season. Now, I will get to some questions with you, Henry, but we're going to warm up a little bit with Makayla. So I'm excited because I love golf. Haven't had many golf, guests on. I've had Tyler. Tyler Light.
Yeah,
I hope he doesn't see this. I've had Tyler on a couple episodes, but mostly he's been on my podcast, 99 Miles Per Hour. And we've got a great relationship, and he's trying to help me with golf. But golf is tough. And I'm not saying other sports are easy, but golf is tough. So I may be asking some questions here that may have nothing to do with your season, but we'll get there.
That's all right.
So, you guys have had some success, I guess boys and girls at Garaway, which is great. How's that been for you being a coach? I know you coached Strasburg girls before. You were a golfer, of course. I don't know if, unless this is Ted Lasso, they don't let people just coach sports they know nothing about.
Right.
But how's that been for you taking over and, even the coach before you had some success? Yeah. How's it been taking over this Garaway golf program?
Yeah, so when they posted the job, I did not accept it. I didn't even reach out about it.
Really?
It was not an interest of mine for various reasons. And I had the principal at the time come to me along with the athletic director, Chip Amicone, and they're like, hey, you should do it. And I was like, nah, I kind of blew it off. They came back a second time, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll think about it or whatever. And so had some conversation, and one of the reasons was the success, like those are big shoes to fill, when you're one of the most successful programs. I mean, they've had a long-standing history of success. So that's a little overwhelming, to take over, like, so, you don't take them to state. Well,
Yeah, you're a failure.
No, you feel like that, though, really. You do feel like that. So, but yeah, it was something that, I knew in the back of my head, but after talking with some people, it's like, just be you, be you and be authentic, and, the players will come, they'll buy into it, and, that's exactly what happened. So it was overwhelming, but it was something that I just kind of had to get over, and obviously the success has followed with it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, do you feel the same thing? Do you feel like Coach is doing a good job? No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Listen, I got him back here.
That's awesome. I mean, for you, playing golf, Was this something you always were like, I'm going to be a golfer?
No, like I actually started my freshman year. Like I had always played basketball and then baseball, and I played football even in middle school. But then I stopped playing football, and I was bored, So I went golfing one time, and I was like, well, this is actually kind of fun. I mean, it's really hard, obviously.
I was about to say, don't tell me you were really good right from the jump. Okay, I was about to be super jealous. But
now, what this kid won't tell you is he started on JV, worked his butt off through sophomore year and became varsity.
Freshman year, basically every single day of the summer. I live like 5 minutes from Black Gold, the course in Sugar Creek.
Love that
just every single day.
Love that course. I wish I can skip the first 3 holes because my ball goes right. But that's awesome. So you live really close to Black and Gold. Love that golf course. And you just kept going after it and fell in love with the game. And then did you have friends or other golf buddies that you were playing with?
So my friend Trace, which recently graduated last year, he's been like a huge inspiration because, as you know, he has a lot of success. He's really good. And then watching him, and he teaches me stuff like, I don't know. It makes it a lot more fun whenever you have someone like that.
That's awesome. Now, if I'm correct, Trace did he finish individually in state last year?
Yeah, so he was sophomore year, he went to state individually and was second team All-Ohio. And then junior year went individually as well, was first team All-Ohio. And then last year the team went, but he finished first team All-Ohio as well.
Wow,
so, yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys were 4th in state last year? Third. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. We'll correct you there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 3rd place.
I love when I have, people who have, had a lot of accomplishments in high school. For me, I had a lot of individual accomplishments, but never as a team, and it kind of hurt. So I love having people who've had success, made it to state, and had the opportunity to compete at that level. And, I'm a little jealous, nothing crazy. But so for you, I know I read a little article from when you first, took the job. I think February 8th and 21 is when you were officially announced. Now, has it been different? I know there's, female coaches in pro levels now, but it's very rare. But I still hadn't seen the female coaches at the high school level. Now, how's that been for you? Have you had trouble, gaining the respect? Obviously, you've done it, but at the beginning, was it tough at all, kind of just in that arena? And for me, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a woman, and that seems like it'd be a difficult transition.
Yeah.
Was it?
It was, I think at first, because that was one of the reasons I wasn't sure if I wanted to take it over. Coaching females was just easy. I knew, but I said in the article, and probably didn't word it the best, but mentally, I think like I would get so frustrated, I would get so in my head, whereas the girls I was coaching, loving them to pieces, but, they were able to kind of let it go more.
Gotcha.
For me, if I had a bogey, it would ruin my whole entire round. So mentally,
that would make me excited.
Yeah. Well, it just would. I think more competitively. Yeah. I grew up competitive. I played basketball, softball, golf. I did track. I was very, very competitive growing up. So they used to say if she could run through a brick wall to win a game, she would do that. So
Love it.
So I think like that. So I knew I would understand them. But yeah, I mean the respect. I think you just come in, and I demanded it right away. But I'll tell you what, the kids I had, they bought into it, and so I didn't have to work very hard. As the years go on, they understand. They tell me they can see when my jaw starts to clench, so they know when to chill out a little bit. But at first, you definitely hold more of that respect to earn that, and they had to see that I knew what I was talking about and I could prove myself. And, just like I'm vetting them out, they were vetting me out.
For sure.
But again, I had Charles Beachy was my first year, his senior year. Emmett Royer and Trace Gibson's group was freshmen when I took over. So didn't really have to work too hard. They were great boys to have to work with. And I tell everyone, I'm like, my job's pretty easy with the kids I have. So I'm very blessed with the boys I have. They're ornery, but they're good. So they're good. So they make my job pretty easy. But yeah, there's not very many females coaching. I mean, I think there's one other that I know of in the area, and that's about it. So
hey, we're making moves.
That's right. That's right. Making moves and success. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Find a rewarding career close to home at Kimball. You'll find outstanding benefits, a supportive team, and opportunities for career growth. Working for a local family company really makes a difference. Apply today.
Aaron Kowalczyk, attorney at law. Family court matters are important to you. You need an attorney that will listen to your concerns and execute a plan that will bring the results that you're looking for. That attorney is Aaron Kowalczyk. For divorce or dissolution or custody, consult attorney Aaron Kowalczyk. Inquire now at kowalczyklaw.com. That is www.kowalczyklaw.com. Now, for you, do you sense that competitiveness when you guys are in practice?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh,
obvious. Now, is there anyone you have on the team that kind of, you think resembles or matches your competitiveness? Are they all like that? Or some like, because me, as I was a young kid, I was ultra competitive. If I lost, you didn't want to be around me. But as I got older, things I was able to turn the page a little bit quicker, still never right away, but a little bit quicker. Now, do you have someone on the team that you're like, okay, like it's all right, we still got another match, or you or the players saying that to you, like, hey, coach?
It might still be that way. It might, Percy.
Oh man, that's funny.
No, I mean, most of them are pretty competitive. I mean, we have a few that are very more chill personality. Austin Tedrick's more of like a chiller personality. But I definitely think, if we're losing, none of us are too complacent with that or too happy. So that competitive nature. But now I would say I'm still, you might want to take a couple hour break from me, but I'm getting better. Before it was maybe a week's time,
there we go.
now it's maybe like a day or two. So,
Okay.
But no, we're pretty, I think we have a high standard for ourselves. And so when we don't match that, we're definitely, even if it's a win, we're still not happy with it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when those times come up, Henry, how do you approach, your next opportunity to practice? Or I'm assuming you guys would at least get a practice in before, because when do you guys have your outings? Like Tuesday?
It just depends.
It depends.
Yeah,
There's not
like this
set
week
days.
we have it tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Oh, wow.
So we don't get a practice
Okay.
break. So
Now, do you like that better, or do you want an opportunity to kind of work on something, or are you just like, hey, you know what, we didn't go perform well, let's get another opportunity the next day?
I like getting the opportunity, like you said, the next day. But like if I'm like my game's not in the right spot, I like to practice. So if I can, like I have a net at home, I'll go home and get some swings in, get some extra practice in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to settle with playing bad. Like I like to perform well.
Now, what's one strength you would say in the game of golf that you have? Is it, and I'm out of my element here, but is it, do you strike the ball well? You got a good putting game?
My scrambling game is pretty good. I'd say like I can hit in the tree sometimes and I can still get up and down for par and stuff.
Nice.
I feel like my chipping's usually pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm gonna have to get some little tips from you, because like I said earlier, my ball goes right from time to time. I stopped using my driver. I just use my hybrid now, and I can hit my hybrid at 260 and hit the fairway.
Yeah.
I'm
You
never
could-
hitting the fairway with the driver, let's just be honest. So
you can come give that advice to our boys. We struggle with not taking the driver out of our bag.
it's tough. And especially
is.
for me, I'm not very good. But when it comes to people who maybe expect to get to the fairway or at least not out of bounds, then I can see, not wanting to take that driver out is going to be tough, because I want to hit the ball far, even though I can't with the driver. I'll probably hit about, 180 and end up on the other fairway. So that's why, that's why we're like, you know what? I just got to be smart.
Yeah.
And, I'm still trying to break 90 here. My best score the other was at Zor, and I shot a 49, and I was very excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
it's still not breaking 90, but if I can shoot in the 40s, high 40s, I'm a happy camper. So we're getting better. We're getting better. But no, I admire people who can consistently, score well. For me, I'm happy if I hit a couple good shots in a round, and that brings me back, But for someone, I have my neighbor's Blake Sattler, who's obviously a phenomenal golfer. If I want to win a scramble, I'll go get him on my team.
Yeah.
But he told me, he's like, hey, how often do you practice? And I'm like, I may go to the driving range once a month. And he's like, okay, then you have no right to be upset or feel like you should be improving if you don't practice. I'm like, I get that. Now, I want to go back to you, Henry, because I want to know, I guess, the amount. I know you said you have a net at home. But like, do you practice in the off season? I know there's other sports involved. Or are you strictly golf right now?
So I play basketball and then I do AAU in the spring too.
Okay.
But like, I golf like as much as I can. Even during basketball, it's like tougher because practices are long.
Yeah.
And there's film and stuff. But like, I'll try and get some swings in almost every single day if I can.
Now, have you had to rework anything in your swing over the years that was kind of frustrating, and you finally hit that peak where you're like, all right, I got this, and I feel comfortable? Because I know for me, I always try to have one swing thought, but at the end of the day, if I feel like I do that one time, then I'm on to the next thing. And then I haven't shown any consistency in that one swing thought where I could just pitch it and feel comfortable with it. But for me, that's what I go through on a daily basis. And then I also heard, because I was always taught, hey, keep your head down. I mean, obviously you want to look at the ball and try to hit it. But this is my little, I'm trying to extract some information from you guys. I saw that you're not supposed to keep your head still, and I watch Nelly Corda swing on a daily. I love her swing. Only thing, she has a little recoil at the end. I wish it was just a nice, but that she's obviously way better than me, so I can't be like, hey, Nelly, change your swing. But before I go way off the rails here, I want to make sure, like, is that advice that you kind of follow, or is it just, hey, I'm looking down at the ball, concentrating, and I'm looking for something else on my swing. I'm not worried about keeping my head still. That's something I've passed my freshman year. Or is there some people on your team that you still are focusing on little minor things like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some people that are just like starting, but like my main thing is just swing smooth. You gotta let the club do the work. Like if you try and kill it, like you were saying, like you can hit the ball far, but it's not gonna work out if you just swing as hard as you can.
Okay. See, I get into I kind of understand that a little bit. There's moments where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna swing it really hard, but in most situations, I decel too much, so I go really slow. So I'm trying to find that happy medium where I'm still getting, a nice smooth swing and not slowing down. But I appreciate the tip. I got swing smooth, swing smooth.
Yes,
now, I do want to ask you a little bit about, before I go into, you guys' goals and expectations for the season and kind of what this offseason looked like. I don't know how, I know when football starts in the offseason, but I don't know when you're able to be like, hey, golf team, let's get together and let's work on things. I don't know when that works or when that's allowed to happen or if it's even allowed to happen. Yeah. But before we get into that, I want to just talk a little bit about, your golf career, because I know you were a college golfer as well.
Yep.
Can you share, I guess, a tip if I have a daughter, who I haven't gotten to golf yet, but the plan is to get there. What are some tips you would give to young golfers, boy or girl, but to get to the next level if they want to, maybe achieve a scholarship? What are some things they have to strive for? And I know it's kind of hard to be like, hey, blanket, shoot an 80 and you're guaranteed a scholarship. But is there something like that along the lines that you could kind of give?
Yeah, so when I played, women's golf was not what it is now. It was definitely not as common to have women golfers. But there's money, so much money in women's golf. It's just not the most popular, sport that girls are playing right now.
Yeah.
You have volleyball and other sports like that, but golf's not the most common sport among women. It's, like I said, it's growing. It's becoming that.
Okay. So it's getting harder by the time my daughter's going to be going to school.
It really is, because I'll tell you, I was shooting low 40s, high 30s, mid 30s by, senior year. But, it's definitely changed. I think it's a lot more competitive now, but there is still so much money out there. When I was coaching the women's or the girls' side of things at Strasburg, I always tell this funny story. I had a girl, she's senior year. I had asked her, she was a decent player. And I was like, hey, do you want to go to college and play? And, because if so, I'll start reaching out to some colleges. And, I had a few connections just from playing. And she's like, no, I'm good. And then I think it was like midway or towards the end of her senior season, she's like, hey, I actually think I might want to go play. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But she got a scholarship. So that kind of shows how much there was. Again, it's starting to become more, but it's definitely, I think you need to be shooting to go D2 level. D2, obviously D1's a whole, another ball game. But, you're having to shoot low, mid 70s, even upper, depending on how small of a D2 you want to go. Lower 80s can do it, but I don't know if you're getting too much higher in the D2 if you shoot any higher than that now. So it's definitely changed. But I always tell girls, I'm like, even if you don't, go to the next level, still play. It's a life sport that you learn so many lessons. You can play till you're old. You're not going out.
I regret not going after it early. I started playing when I was 34.
Yeah. No, seriously.
A little bit earlier than that, but I wouldn't count those years because I was using someone else's clubs and I went once a year.
Yeah.
So I actually started probably 34 when I started really going after it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like,
Yeah.
But it's a game that I, obviously I admire. I started watching. I used to grow up like, why are people watching golf? Like, what is this? Like, it doesn't seem fun. But then once you play, understand the game, then you're kind of more drawn to it.
Yeah. And I think getting kids into like Jeff Willis is just fantastic. We are blessed to have him for this area. So when he had Willendale, how I got started into golf was someone was like, hey, you want to come to one of his golf clinics? And my parents, didn't know anything about golf. They're like, sure, here's the box set, take her. And actually, funny story, I got a scholarship off of a box set. Really? I didn't have custom clubs. I played off of it was called Golf Girl is what the name of the brand was. So, I think definitely times have changed. You're having custom sets. It was senior year after I got my scholarship. My parents were like, I guess you are pretty good, so we should probably get you a custom. So got a custom set, never had a lesson. I think I had maybe a handful of lessons.
Really?
So, it was just times are different now, getting
crazy.
them in and getting lessons. And so, definitely different.
Have you had lessons, Henry?
No, I'm like all self-taught pretty much.
There we go. You watch a lot of YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Rick Shields? No, not Rick Shields.
Rick Shields.
I mean, Bryson has a channel now.
Bryson,
Good Golf?
Good.
Hey, there it is.
Yeah.
I love it. You watch Good Golf?
I do. I do.
Okay.
A little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of watch, I don't really watch as much Good because ever since the split up, but but no, it is different. I know you're talking about the girls' game being different, but I think as a whole, golf is just people are starting to understand that, hey, might as well get into it early. And I wish I would have, because even if you're not going to be, hey, I want to break this score, or hey, I want to improve this game, you're still going out and it's a good social game for business. And no matter what you're going to do, if you're not going to play college golf or you're not going to try to be like, hey, I think I can be a pro golfer, at the end of the day, you're still going to need this in professional, depending on what you're doing. And I think it's a great game. Now, I want to, before I get too crazy in here, I want to make sure we talk about the season, because I'm like, all right, well, I got them in here. But we talked about last season with a finish in third in state, which is amazing. Now, this year, is it something that you're like, hey, we're going to go further, or hey, we want to get back to state and perform? What is it? Because you said you take about 6 players to I guess an outing or a match, if you want to call it. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. Matches. Yeah.
Now, is it usually just one team versus another, or do you guys have invitationals where everybody's playing? Do you have like one of those a year, or how's that?
So we have the IVC, and through the IVC, we play every team, and then we'll have a pre and a post. So pre and post are 18 holes. Sometimes coaches will get together and say, hey, I have to come to your place, and so has to come to my place. Can we just all come to yours and play a try? Sometimes we do that, but like the pre and the post, we usually have 3 or 4 sums that go out, so you'll have 4 teams. So all the number 1s play together, all the number 2s play together. But yeah, so.
Dang, so you like come out and say, hey, this is my number 1. That's why you were, okay.
Yeah, okay. And not all the time is it, and I tell the boys too, like some tournaments you go to, we play outside tournaments. Like we'll go up to Worcester, play a tournament up there. We played some at North Star when they used to have theirs, and so we've played other tournaments, and sometimes it's only 5 players that go. Gotcha. So it kind of just depends. But like within our 6, sometimes I'll play them at different spots. Just because of kids playing better with certain kids, we tap a lot into our mental game. So there's some kids that are introverted, and we have kids that are extroverted. So as a coach, why would I play an introvert and an extrovert together? Like, that's not going to be the best compatibility. So,
sure.
So there's some maneuverability within that, but yeah, typically you have your 1 through 6. So
Nice. Okay. See, I'm learning so much because I know like some of my friends who played golf in high school and all that, but I didn't know anything about how, high school golf teams are. Even when I was reading the article and it was saying, hey, Garaway finished this, but then Trace finished here. And I'm like, okay. And then I was trying to equate it to like track, how a team could win, but then, or a player could win and the team can't. So I appreciate you guys having patience with me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now for you, Henry, preparing for this season, and, I know you've got certain goals. And sometimes, I'm not going to ask you, hey, what are your goals, Henry? What are you going to do this year? Because I just feel like some of that stuff should be internal. And sometimes if you say certain things, people might look at it as, oh, well, Henry's cocky. This is his goal. So you can keep those internal. You can tell me after the camera. But for you, like, was there something that you're like, okay, this year I want to improve this, and this year I expect that our team will, do better? Or how's that? How was your process in the off season? I know you had AAU basketball and all that stuff going on, but when you're like, okay, getting excited for the golf season, what were your expectations for yourself and the team?
Well, we lost a few players from last year, which obviously we played well and got third at state. But like, I don't want to settle. I want to get first or second, at least third. You know what I mean? I want to get back there, just perform.
Gotcha. I like that. I like that. Now, the thing I do is I ask multiple questions within the thing, and then I ultimately change it. But I do want to get back to the one question I did ask is, was there something I know you said you just focus on swing and smooth, but was there something that you were working on that you were trying to improve for this season?
So last year, like, I usually could only hit a draw. Like, if I wanted to hit a fade, I could not hit a fade to save my life. So I really worked on being able to hit the ball both ways. And like, if you get stuck in a position, I feel like it helps a lot.
Nice. I like that. See, and I'm watching a lot of YouTube and I'm seeing these golfers, how they're like, oh yeah, on this situation, I do this. And I'm not worried about that yet. But the 2 shots I have is, I hit it off the tee, wherever it goes. Usually I am in the trees, so I've gotten good with putting the ball back in my stance and keeping the ball low. I'm really confident with that shot, which I don't. I'm good. I'm glad that I am confident with it, but I don't want to consistently be over
have
there.
to be doing that shot.
But I think that's the reason I'm actually pretty good at the shot. But for a beginner golfer like me, is when do you think there's a point where you're like, all right, I think I can try to start working on some shot shapes here. I feel like I consistently am able to hit the ball off the tee and stay in play. And, I'm not ever getting, green in regulation. But what are some things you could say, hey, you know what, it's time for you to either try to learn a different shot type? Because most people, I think, have a natural shot. Now, me as a slicer, does that mean my natural shot is going to be a fade? Or
No.
It means once I correct I feel like my face has been corrected, but, the swing path, I'm still, out to end. Once I fix that, should it be going straight or will I develop? Is most of the time you do a draw and then you learn the other shots?
I feel like, because I played baseball, obviously, I sliced it all the time.
Okay.
So I
So there's
always, there's hope. There's hope. Yeah.
With practice.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it just depends if you like close your face or whatnot. But like, yeah, you can either learn a draw or a fade, whatever one you like. It's not, I know it's
not
hard.
hard is what he was about to say.
It's hard, but like once you get it down, it's not that tough.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I'm gonna work on my, every winter I say I'm gonna go to, Willie's and my friend's simulator, and I'm gonna work and figure this out because I'm good with everything but wedges and driver. Well, putting is a different story. But I'm confident in like some chipping and putting. But when it comes to, 40 to 130 yards out, I'm not comfortable. And when it comes to tee shots, I'm not comfortable. But if I can get the ball and I'm, I would say 190 to 130, I feel good taking a full swing with most of my irons and getting it there. But then the problems are, before that and after that. But I'll work on that, and I'll take some of your your advice. And, if you want to give me some lessons or, invite Trace over, whatever it is, I would love all that. But I guess final question I really want to do because, like I said, I have my outline. Good thing you said, hey, you know what, I'm good because I did not stick to this at all.
All good.
But the one thing I did have, I wanted to ask you, Makayla, like when you took this job and, you've had some success, is there anything that you're like, as a coach, I feel like, my boys would be better if I did this. Is there anything like that? Or do you feel like, hey, I'm learning, I'm approaching every day, learning as a coach, as a young coach, but there's nothing where I'm like, I'm negative in this aspect or, when I come and I've, just blown up on the boys, is there nothing you have like that? It's just mainly just advancing in experience and, when you face certain situations, kind of handling them then and then learning from that? Or do you feel like, okay, as a coach right now, I feel like I need to work on these things? Do you have that?
Yeah. So obviously, I think anybody, if they're honest, you're always growing as a coach. And if you're not, I think you should definitely check yourself because, I mean, we should always be growing, even as humans,
For sure.
So I think, a couple years ago, was it 2 years ago maybe? I think one area I really slacked in with them was the mental game. It was an area that I struggled with in school and college. And so it was something that I don't think you think about as a player, like it really, truly matters, but it does. And I think as a coach, I started to see that. Even how I was coaching some of my players, I was coaching them how I played and not how they play. And so in golf, it's huge mental game. I mean, you can have the swing all you want, but if your mental game isn't up to what your swing level is, I mean, doesn't matter. You can run around with your brain. I think the saying is, the part of your game is, between your ears. And so if you don't have that down, you're not going to score well. So, but I remember I went to one of my players and was coaching him, kind of hard. Why aren't you taking this seriously? Because to me, it looked like, maybe he wasn't taking it so seriously. So when I approached him, and I'll thank him forever for this, he's like, Coach, I don't think that way. I don't play like that. And so when looking up some stuff and really kind of reflecting on, maybe I'm coaching them, not how they should be coached. It really transformed the way I even thought, how can I be? I always give the analogy, we have mental meetings. We started and they go over it and things like that. And we sign like a little mini contract of it,
let's go.
And things like, and we really work on that and develop that. But one thing I heard was you have a Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, two amazing golfers, but two completely different people and personalities. You got, Lefty who's throwing up thumbs and, talking to the crowd and interacting. And then you got Tiger who won't even give a look, more in his prime, but won't even give a look to anybody. He's laser focused, but both are good. And so, I understand we're not to that level, but we do play like that. I am more of, when I get on the course, I would turn more into Tiger Woods, but I wasn't him. Yeah. I needed to be more like a Phil Mickelson. I'm extroverted. I need to be talking. When I get quiet, it's not good. Yeah. It's not good. Usually I'm playing pretty bad. And so what would happen is then I would get more in my head and more in my head and more quiet. And so when I started kind of developing that, I feel like it kind of helped how I coached the boys and how I approached each kid. They have to be different. You have to approach them differently, just like kids, Yeah. Some you can get more hard on, and then others you have to kind of, proceed with a little bit of caution. So, I think that's one area that's really been something I'm ever growing in and changing. But I think you're learning, how they are, and each year's different. Last year's group is not how I coach this year's group. It's a lot different, have to give maybe a little bit more grace, because there's, even though we may have upperclassmen on our team, Henry and Austin are the only two that were part of the team from last year. Okay. Gavin McRoby, who is a senior, he was a part of the team, but he was 6-man, so he didn't play at state.
Okay.
So, I have 2 kids on a team that have any experience at that kind of level. Gotcha. So we're pretty young in that kind of capacity. So I got to give a little more grace and have a little more patience with them. So yeah, I think as a coach, you're ever changing and you're ever growing and never staying complacent, but always, yeah.
I love it. I wish I would have had this conversation. I needed this because I struggled when I was playing, pro baseball. I struggled with the mental game. And I was one of those who thought I needed to be laser focused. I was actually annoyed if people tried to talk to me. When I was a starting pitcher, I would arrive at the field, and that's not my normal personality, obviously.
Right.
But one of my days that I was starting, I just didn't want to be bothered. Yeah. And then once I became a reliever, you're kind of, you never know when you're pitching. So you kind of, you're yourself. And then when it's time to go in the game, I realized kind of what you did, It's just like, what? This isn't me. I'm not a, not talker. I'm not a silence person. I'm me, and I need to be me at all times. And that's when I kind of was finally like, oh, I get it. And I even had teammates like, why do you do that on your days that you're starting? And I'm like, I don't know. I thought that's what I'm supposed to do.
Supposed to be focused.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I thank you for sharing that. And no, I appreciate you guys coming in. And Henry, thanks for coming in. And I'm really excited to see how you guys do this year. Make sure you stay in touch, and because we would love to have you back at the end of the season as well and talk about what you guys did. And, I wasn't joking about them tips. I need them. So, we can link up at Willie's and figure this stuff out. But no, again, I appreciate you guys. Good luck this season. Was there anything else that you wanted to share that I didn't really hit on?
No, I think we're excited. We got 2 big weeks coming up with some pretty big matches within our IVC, and before you know it, postseason will be here. We'll have the Eastern District Open, and then sectionals and districts, and hopefully state. So,
I'm gonna have to come check out because I've never been to a golf match. So no matter where it's at, I've never been to one. So I've never been to, because people are like, oh yeah, we go to, I know someone went to Augusta and all this, and I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I know some people went to U.S. Open, all those things. So I've never been to any golf match, so I think I should start local.
Yeah, start local, work your way up.
Yeah, it should be exciting. But no, again, I wish you guys the best. I'm gonna be keeping an eye out, and hopefully we see you guys back on the show celebrating a state championship.
Yeah. Yep. Let's hope.
And again, thank you guys for coming here. Big Time Sports, loves to support all of our local high schools. Even though it only seems that I have Garaway and Dover. I swear, sometimes Philly, I'll have other schools on sometimes.
We see where the love is.
But no, at the end of the day, we appreciate you guys always giving us feedback and support. Again, we thank you for subscribing and following on Facebook. Again, live sports there. We won't have any live golf matches, but other sports will have some live coverage. And then we'll also be sharing all from our sports, even from outside of Tusk County. We have Stark County on our website as well. So stay tuned there. And like always, appreciate, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.